everyone, it's me, Laura from The Papered Soul. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to my Make a Journal with Me Sunflower series, where I make a journal from start to finish. I am actually using the Sunflower Bloom Kit from Artymaze. I've already created and released 2 episodes before this one, so be sure to check those out. If you've never subscribed to my channel, I hope that you will consider doing so. And like and comment. I love to hear people's comments about what they think. This is just my process and how I approach journal making with my journals and everything. And so I just thought I would put the camera on and let you journal with me. And I thought that would be fun. Okay, so I'm here with, like I said, beautiful, got some of them cut out, some are not, the elements from the Sunflower Bloom Kit from Artymaze. And normally what I will do is I kind of go through them all at one time, and I may do that at the next, maybe not the next video, but the one after that. I may actually sit down and, you know, further decide how I'm going to back them and everything, because I do back all of my elements and stuff. But for the purpose of the video, I've kind of just been going as I go along with you guys. And I also have some coffee dye paper that I use to back and make my cards and my everything sturdy. And then here are some of the papers that I'm using that I used in the journal already, where I'm just trying to bring out these pretty colors from the kit. So that's what I'm working with there. And what I thought we would do, I kind of thought we would finish, I'll do that in a minute. Okay, this little butterfly, I made a little butterfly here, and I did a little tuck. In the last one, I backed that. This is a little journal card that's going to stick in this Rita Donnelly flip. And so I'm going to put this butterfly here. And I actually, it's so funny, I'd actually already cut it, a piece off, and I've already lost the piece. But I used some of this colored tinted cheesecloth. I got it from Hobby Lobby. And I just cut some of that off. And so I think that's what I want to put under here. So that's what I'm going to do for that. And a lot of times with my process, I kind of build on it and then I think about it. So if I'm not, like, sometimes I'm not always totally finished, or I need to step away and think about it if I want to add anything else. So for this particular, I'm going to put that there so it won't keep flipping open. I think I am going to just do, I'll have to cut another piece. I already had it prepped and everything, and while I was getting my set up, I fluffed it away somewhere. I'll find it later. So I just kind of cut a little piece here, and I may make that a little smaller and fray it out a little, kind of pull on it a little bit, fray it out a little bit, so it's not just, you know, perfect. And then what I do, you kind of want it ratty, little rough edge there. So then what I'll do is I'll just stick this under. I think what I'm going to do is take this page out, because I don't worry with it when I leave. You know, I do sometimes take them out, but especially that's wanting to flop open and you might not be able to see what I'm doing. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of maybe put that there, and maybe like figure out where I want my butterfly, just to have a little bit of layering action there, a little interest for him, and a little contrast there. So I'm using my Fabri-Tac, make sure it's not plugged up, and put some glue on the back here. I appreciate everybody that's watched the first 2 installments or episodes that I've already put in, and your comments. I appreciate. I'll try to answer any questions you may have. I also, like I say, share some things. If you do something differently or you have a good tip, pop it in the comments section so all of us can learn. Different ways of doing things. So just thought it would just be a fun kind of series. So I'm going to put that back into my journal, what I've done so far. All right, so that will need to dry. And I made that butterfly in the last episode, and then I have put little stickles on his antenna. So I showed how I did that. So let's move on to the next. Now, if you watched the last episode, you will realize that I had put tabs on these, but I did end up flipping them around because I found out that I had done, this says sunflowers, and so when I had it on the front, I had put it upside down. So I ended up flipping those tabs for the back anyway. So then you'll be able to, do like that. So it's all good. I put this on the front, or the top, I should say. On the top. So anyway, I just did some adjusting with that. And what I think I'm going to do, I still may do some things with these little flaps, but I'm still thinking on it. So while I'm thinking on it, I think what I'm going to definitely do is do some stenciling. And I picked out a couple of neat stencils. These are Tim Holtz stencils. This one, I can't remember the name of it. I take them out of the packages, but I'll give you the model numbers. It's THS143, and it's just like little floral. And then this is actually a timeless one. And does it have a, it's kind of covered up. I'll try to figure that out for you later, but this kind of like two different patterns in one. And they're some of my favorite ones. So I was thinking about doing some stenciling. And I usually, I wanted to basically keep these pages for journaling purposes. And so I like to stencil just to add a little bit of interest and color to the pages. But I do it light enough so that you can still journal on it. And it just keeps everything pretty also. So I think I'm going to use this color Evergreen Bough. And I just need to decide if I want the flourish or do I want just the little flowers. The flourish might be, for this particular one, the better one to go with, only because this might compete too much with these pattern papers, and I don't want, I don't think it will, especially if I'm just doing a little, I don't know, that might be pretty. See how I do? All right, so let's just do maybe a little corner. I don't want to do it. I don't know which direction I want to do this in. Let's see this one up here. I might just do, so kind of at the edge. I might have gotten a little dark on that, but it's just very subtle. And I'm going to do this one down here in this corner. Okay, so that's really pretty. Just that little bit, and it's very subtle. And you know that you can write on that. I may stencil on these two, but I might leave them. So let me do this one right now for sure. Like I say, I just kind of go, flip pages, and get a feel for what I want. And I could do this corner. And then down here. I think I'll take that paper clip off. That was holding my little elements on the other page. So let me do this again. I may just do this little flower up here. And kind of come down this way across the page. Very subtle. Might need a little more. And then down here, just kind of move it around. I'll put him in the corner here. I hope I'm in frame. Okay, that's pretty. So cover that up. So that's what I have there. Oh, I love that. That's just real pretty. It gives it an interest. It doesn't keep it too plain, but you can definitely use that for journaling, all that journaling space. So our next page, I had this paper clipped on before in the last video, and I knew that I wanted to put maybe some sort of a quote, which what I do with my quotes, I'll look up a bunch of quotes that I like or poems that I like about my subject matter for my journals, and I will just kind of type them out and print them out on regular paper, and that gives me a good sizing, because sometimes it's hard to know, well, what size is this? Is it going to be, and you know, where am I going to place them? So what I'll do is I'll use this as my little template. I'll end up cutting these as I go through my journal, and when I'm trying to determine where I want to put a quote. And oftentimes I'll just paper clip it in there, and then when I've got them all ready to go and I know what size I need. See, sometimes I'll have to go and resize, like I had to resize that because initially it was, what was this one? Every day. Yeah, it was like that. And so it was going to be too wide. So I went in and fixed it and made it like that so it would fit. So that's kind of what I do with my quotes, and then I print them on my coffee dyed paper. And that's how I, you know, get that. So I was thinking about backing this with give it like a yellow border, because I just think that's really pretty there. So I thought about giving it a little small yellow border, and I thought that would make that pop off that page. So what I'm going to do first is ink this. I hope everybody's doing okay today. It's kind of cloudy here today, but I'm all right with that. I am all about let's have some sun and let's have some rain. I don't like one or the other taking precedence. I like the healthy balance. We have to have sun and rain. You need it all. So there it is, nice and edged around there. And then what I'll do, get this out of the way, I'm just going to go ahead and just give it a little border. You know, because it's, when I get my tuck in, you know, it's about going to fill that page up, which is nice. And so what I'll do is kind of decide how much of a border I want. That might be good there. And get it all glued down. Now what I do is I glue things and get all that done first, and then when I'm basically done just about all of my elements like this, I'll sew them, and I sit down at my machine and sew them all at one time. And that's how I normally do that. Yeah. And I think that'll be a pretty border. Little sunny border, and pick up that yellow on that other page. And normally I'll just eyeball my cut. I'll kind of eyeball it. Just try to take my time. Now I could come in with a paper trimmer, but sometimes I don't like to do that because I gotta be real careful. I like to not cut my papers up too much because I don't want to ruin some sort of opportunity how I might need to use these papers. But that's just me. I mean, you can certainly do however you want to do. There. Just a smidgy. That's pretty good. Okay, so I'm gonna put this off to the side for later use, and then I make a decision. Do I want to add another element or more journaling space with this? And I actually, you know, like here, it's double-sided right here, but it's not double-sided right here, and sometimes that can be thinner. So the question is, do I want to take some of my paper? It's too thin. Let's see. Then the other question would be, if I did that, do I want to make some extra journaling space? So these are things you can do. You don't have to do it. But these are the kind of the things that I think about. I was just going to have it tucked in there. Let me see what I want to do. For this particular one, I just don't want that to, you know what? I may go ahead and glue this. Okay, I have, my lines are showing up good there, so what I may do is glue it to the back of that and then have more thickness around here. And then you'll have the lines also, some good journaling lines on the back of that. So I don't think but what I was thinking of doing was like putting it here and then folding this back and adding extra journaling space. But I'll probably do that with another element in the kit before we're done with this. So I think on this one I'm going to keep it like this. And you have an option of what you want to do. You can sew it first and then, but I think what I'm going to do is just glue it and then sew it. That's what I usually do. But if you didn't want your sewing to show on the back, you would want to sew it next and then glue a piece of the coffee dyed paper to the back of it. I hope that makes sense. So this is just all the little things, all the little decisions, you know, that you just kind of make along the way. And as you're crafting, the neat thing about it is as you do things, the more things are popping into your head. It's crazy. But you know how a lot of times all of us are saying, well, I'm not really feeling motivated. I'm not getting good ideas or anything like that coming to me. I just am not feeling creative. I find that when we do things and actually create, that's when the ideas start coming. And you don't think it will, but it does. And you're like, because as you're doing things and creating something, another idea will come in and kind of surprise you there. I think what I am going to do is cut this one on my paper trimmer, which is right here. So I'm just going to step out of frame real quick and cut that down. And so as I was cutting, I will tell you that another idea popped into my head. So that's kind of you know what I'm talking about, how as you're working with a piece, holding it in your hand, looking at the colors, being inspired, that's when ideas start to come to you. And I thought, is there anything else I want to do to this element? I could put a little, excuse me, I could put a little pocket on the back of it if I want to. So, I didn't bring my I did, my Post-it notes with me, but I did. So I'll show you sometimes what I do, because I don't always remember what I'm gonna do or my ideas, and y'all might be able to retain that kind of thing better than I do. But what I'll do is I'll use my Post-it notes and I'll jot down a little idea and stick it to the piece. And that way when I come back to it, I'll maybe have time to ruminate and think about it and decide what I want to do. And I also will do inking of the back. Now this right now is a nice sturdy tag. It's got a little more to it than I normally do, but I really did it more or less for the edges, just so that they're not real weak and easily torn when handled. That's basically what I did. And I want to come in here and I will probably sew around this decoratively at some point. The thing that I was going to tell you, my little crazy things I do because I can't remember stuff. I'll take a sticky Post-it note and I'll cut it into strips. So that's just kind of what I do, like that. And then I will use these. I cut it lengthwise where there's a little bit of sticky on each end, okay? And then I will write whatever my idea is. And so I might put, since I'm thinking about a pocket on the back of that, pocket with a question mark, and I've got that right there. And then, you know, I'll make that decision, and don't forget my ideas. You might not need to do that, but if you're like me, that is a helpful little tip. So I tuck that in there and keep it paper clipped until I'm ready to actually assemble that page. I need to do a backing for this, because you know, I'm sorry I bumped the camera. You know that I do like to keep everything sturdy. To me, this is too flimsy, but it's all in what you want. You know, some people may like that better. I like it to be a little sturdier so that I can handle it and not feel like it's gonna tear or rip easy or anything like that. So, and I probably should have waited to ink this until after I glued it on here. But anyway, that's okay. I kind of do a little bit of both. So I'm just going to back this and get it ready. It'll be ready for sewing once I glue the back of this on. I have about 8 or 9 bottles of this, and they have different levels, little small levels of glue at the bottom, and I call them my bottles of hope, in hopes of one day getting the rest of the glue out of those bottles. So you'll have to tell me how many bottles of glue you all have. Oh my goodness. Sometimes you got to make a decision on what side of the paper you like the best. I kind of like that because it has a little, I'll just do the other way. It doesn't matter. It's all coffee dyed and aged. Trim this out. So it's good to, like I say, put like a podcast on, or music, or maybe, I think some of you watch other videos, crafting videos. I can't do a crafting video, and I'll tell you, while I craft, and that, unless I'm like copying what they're doing, like trying to learn a process or something, or a project like a folio or something, which I do want to learn how to do. But I want to pay attention to the video, and I want to see. And if I'm looking down, I'll miss something. So there's that. And I use this pretty tag. It's got the oranges on it, and it looks like there's a little orange tree there. So I just thought that was perfect for that page. I may come in and do some stenciling on it later on. We'll just see. On this side, I have decided to do two things. One is a booklet, and the other is I've already cut this paper to the proper width, and that's why it's good to get all your punching done first, because then you know how much paper you have, to deal with when you go to cutting your elements. So I thought that would be pretty with this page, and so I'm going to do a little pocket flip, and so I got to decide how tall I want my pocket. So a lot of times that might make it a little shorter. Yeah, just kind of eyeball. So I'll just do this, mark it. And let me see if this paper trimmer will work. It might be too wide. If it is, I'll do my other paper trimmer. Oh, it's good. So I love this little trimmer. Got it from Michael's. I think it's a Recollections, and it is perfect to have on your desk for just those little trimmy, snippy things that we are gonna do. Like this one, like this little quote I have here. I wanted to maybe take off. I may or may not use this one on this pocket. I'm still trying to decide. It might be too long of a quote, and I might want a little more edge to work with. So you can see how handy dandy that is. And I think it has like a little, I want to say it's got a little magnetic, it just helps hold it really well. So you might want to pick one of those up for yourself. And now that I have cut this, I just fold it in half because I'm going to do a flip up pocket. And before I do that, I'm going to use an edge punch, and I've got it right here. I'm going to use that one. That's one of my favorites. I like to kind of edge punch the bottom, give it a pretty decorative edge. There we go. And then I'll ink it. I think I'm gonna try to do a couple of videos today, and really, I really wanted to work hard on getting this journal done. I'm not trying to go too fast at all. I just want to stay consistent and not lose any time. I cannot believe how fast the time is going. I don't know about you guys, but it is simply ridiculous. At the end of the week, we're looking at half of August being gone. And I'm like, where did June go? Where did July go? Where is it going? Okay, so I got that nice and inked up, and you just kind of look. It doesn't usually matter what side you choose, but as you well know, you might like one side better than the other. With these papers, sometimes they'll have variances, and you might like the coloration better from one side to the next. So you just make that decision. That's pretty. Okay, let's glue. So I handle it on the top fold, and that way I know these three edges I need to glue, and just run a little bead down. So the sides and the bottom and the side. Just a thin little bead of glue there, and then I center it with my seam. And I don't want to cover this edge part up. So I kind of want to just center that nicely, and you want to make sure that you have space on this fold because you don't want anything to get in the way. So I have a little space there, about 1/8 of an inch space, and I want to make sure it's lined up, and then go ahead and press that down. But yeah, you don't want to get in the way of your pages opening and closing, so that's what that's about. And then I'm gonna do, okay, so like with my quote, I was trying to decide, do I want to do a little quote right here? And that's, I may find something else with this one. I might find another quote to put here, and I may end up putting a little pocket on it. So that's where I have to start making my decisions, because like I say, ideas start coming to you as you work. So I'm going to use my little Post-it note, and I'm going to jot down a quote. What I'm going to put is a quote, question mark, pocket. Because I think that I might want to put a little pocket there. And what I'm thinking in my brain right now, and I'm just not sure, is I might layer that over it. Or some other color. Just not sure. So I'm going to put that right there. And I'm even going to tuck that there because, you know, if I don't use that one there, I'll use it somewhere else. And meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and back this card. So, find the color of side that I like the best. And I'm going to put it, get it on backed up, and it'll be ready for sewing. And then I'll ink it. Since I'm sewing, I get it, the glue kind of close to the edge, but you know, it's not, I don't make sure it's right at the edge. It doesn't really matter. I get it close because when I am going to sew it down, that's going to cinch it on down. So if there's any glued or edge that didn't quite get glue, that will take care of it. Now, I could, if I wanted to, I could add an extra flip for this, for extra journaling space, which I think I am going to do on this one. And see, I had initially not thought of doing that, but it's coming to me now, so I think that's what I'm going to do. And I just kind of fold it where you can just mostly see just the picture there, not seeing a lot of paper. And then I'll just cut around it. Ooh, my sun is coming out. My husband is doing a big project today. He's painting our cabinets in the kitchen, which is not an easy job. It's been one of those tasks that he's put off for a long time because it is such a dread to do stuff like that. And I'm in here doing fun crafting. That hardly seems fair. So, I'm going to ink this up. So I have not only in that little bit that I did, I backed the card so it's glued to the back of the coffee dyed paper, and then I added extra journaling paper instead of just cutting it off. It doesn't matter what you do. I could have made it just a single journal card, but I decided to seize the opportunity since I had that space and just fold it and then cut around it, and now I have a journal spot. So that's, I like to do that a lot. Any extra space we can give. I love the coffee dye, the coffee staining on this particular one. I like it when it's kind of splotchy and lighter in some areas than others. And then I do the very back. And, you know, I don't do like a lot of embellishing or anything at that point. I may embellish it later. I mean, I may open it and maybe have a cute little, I tell you what, I might just do it now while I'm thinking about it. But a lot of times I don't. I'll just wait and embellish things later. So what I might do is put this little bee. Wouldn't he be cute? There you go. Put him in there. Make sure he's dry. Sometimes the ink will transfer over here if I fold it too soon. And sometimes what you can do is take a smaller piece of paper and put over it, and then just, I'll, you know, kind of tuck it in my journal like that. And then, or wait on that page until everything is dry. Okay, so the next thing I have is, I'm going to make a booklet, but I'm going to make a booklet with this, but I have an idea for it that I think I want to take a little more time with when I do it. So I may do that in the next video, and I'm going to drape the book over this little piece that has a flip out for even more journaling space. So I'm going to make the booklet in the next installment. And then I'm going to have a ribbon that runs through here. I may do an element on here, or I may just keep it. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I know a ribbon's going to go through that. And I've decided to make this a pocket. So since I've decided to make that a pocket, I'll show you what I do with my pockets. I even back my pockets, because I don't, if I just glued these edges like this is just a single piece of paper. And if you're going to want to put things in and out of it, little journal cards and things, I just need it to be sturdy, you know. And the other thing I will do is I will, once I get this backed, I let it dry, I will usually punch the edges. If you don't want to punch the edges or don't have a punch, you can always put lace on it, or take decorative scissors and put a design on it or something like that. I do different things. Sometimes I'll put lace on it, and if that's the case, you don't have to worry about a decorative punch. So just whatever you want to do. So what I'm going to do on this is I'm just going to put glue, since I have decided I want this yellow pocket. I want this yellow page to be a pocket for sure. So I'm going to put glue all over the back of this flap. And then I'm going to take this piece of paper and I'm just going to flush it to the edge and get it in there good, and I'm going to just wrap that over it. And that is going to give me a little bit of a sturdier pocket because it's lined with coffee paper. I'm going to tell you something else about coffee paper too that's been baked. It gives it more of a sturdiness to the paper, because it has elements, I guess, that's been dissolved into the paper and added, and just gives it more of a sturdiness also. So then what I do is I just cut around this. And like I say, I'll let it dry, and then once it's dry, I'll be able to do my edge punching or make a decision about if I want lace on it or whatever I'm going to do before I glue it down to actually form the pocket. So that's what I do there. So you can see that I really utilize my coffee dye papers a lot. Not just for the decorativeness of it. What have I done? Wait a minute. Had it turned. Not just for the decorating of it here and having journal pages, but for the utilization of thickening it up. That's not the one I had. This was the one I had. I don't know why I'm having trouble with that. Okay. So there it is, and that's gonna dry because I know that's gonna be a pocket, and I'll remember that because it's thicker, and I'll remember that's what I'm gonna do with that. All right, I think the other thing I wanted to just tell you about, I think that's all I'm going to do in this installment, and then I'm going to record another one because I don't want them to be too long, is while I'm making my journals, I do a lot of thinking about them even if I'm not actually getting to work on them. And I just start thinking, well, what can I do? What can I put into my journal? You know, what can I add? I do like to add paint chips, and since this is a sunflower journal, I thought these colors were so pretty. I thought it'd be really neat. I had just picked them out at random one time when I went, but this is called Golden Castle, Golden Moon, Maple Taffy. I thought it would have been neat if it had actually said something about a sunflower on here, but it didn't. So I think I'm going to do something with that in a future video. Guest checks are always fun to add into your journals. And I think I'm going to use this one for sure. This has blue in it, and there's not really blue in this. So I'm going to stay away from this guest check this time. These I both have in my shop. This is a thicker one, thicker cardstock. This is thinner, but I really like this because when you back it with some coffee dye paper after you've decorated or decoupaged on it, it has a really nice feel to it, and it sews up really well. So I just wanted to share that with you. And I think in my next installment, I have some other items, but I just wanted you to know, like I have here, you know, like a little ledger paper that you could incorporate into your journal. So just start incorporating interesting things. And I kind of start pulling things together like that and kind of have in my brain, you know, what do I want to do? Well, I know I want to do something with a guest check. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that guest check yet, but you will see on one of my upcoming installments. So anyway, let's just take a look and see what we have so far. We have this. Got my journal card, Rita Donnelly flip, and my little butterfly on some colored cheesecloth. I have my stenciling on these journal pages and my little flips there. I've backed my lovely little quote or poem about sunflowers, and trying to decide if I want to put anything else to that before I sew it up. I've backed this. It'll be ready for embellishing. I'll do a lot of my embellishing later, you know, after I've done all my sewing. I've got my little flip pocket here, and I'm trying to decide if I want a quote pocket on top of that, because that's always fun to add some stuff to. There's one of my quotes. It may or may not go on that page, and then that's probably dry now. I have a little journal card with some extra journal space. I might do a little stenciling on the back of that too, so we'll see. We shall see. Like I say, a lot of that embellishing I usually save towards the end once I flip through and see what else my journal needs. Gonna do a booklet there. We talked about that. And then a ribbon there, and then I will make that a pocket. So that's what we have so far. And please stay tuned. If you've not seen the first and second episode of my Sunflower series, Make a Journal with Me, please check those out so you can kind of see the flow of my process. And of course, please be on the lookout for the next installment. I hope to have these out soon for you, and hope everyone is having a great day. Thank you so much. Bye.